shirt.
Don't swear. Don't swear.
Oh yeah, don't swear.
I'm gonna keep my.
Oh, also when it's that screen is up, just know that they can hear us. So hopefully you didn't hit start before I accidentally slipped out a curse word.
No, we're all good.
Let me know when you're going live too. I'll keep playing this roller games music.
It just went live just like 10, 15 seconds ago.
All right. We are setting up for our first ever Marco Pinball live stream. It's going to be a roller game fantastic stream. We'll begin in about 10 minutes. And until then, listen to the awesome. Who is it that makes this music?
Dan Forden.
Dan Forden. Whoopsies. Yeah. All right. Hey everybody, feel free to hang out and talk in the chat while we get ready. We will begin in about 10 minutes. Make yourself comfortable, grab your coffee, grab your cat, put your phones on silent, and get ready to hang out and learn some pinball. Kyle said everyone would get annoyed if I played the roller game soundtrack, but listen to this. This is amazing. I can listen to this all day long. Oh, and special thanks to Pin Sound, which is where I downloaded the entire soundtrack, sound effects, and music library. You can find it on Pin Sound. They do some really awesome remastering. Check out this one. You all know this song. This is the intro? No, this is the bonus soundtrack. Sounds exactly like the one I just played.
Are we live on Twitch right now, Imoto? Oh, there it goes.
We are live. We are live everywhere, Kyle.
All right. It just said sending data, but now it says online.
Ooh, I will look at that too. I will share. I wonder if this music gets flagged for copyright on Facebook.
Yeah, maybe Sony owns the rights because it's such a rockin' soundtrack. That's imaginable.
That was a fun song. I'm trying to find the rock. Oh, wait. Maybe it's called Man. Yeah.
There you go.
This is the part where everyone turns off their sound because they don't like this. I love it. Rock, rock, rock and roller games. Rock, rock, rock and roller games. Craig from Fun Billiards asked if you could fix his clock issue on his Twilight Zone. Do you have any tips for that, Kyle?
Yeah, that's Twilight Zone's like #1 Achilles heel. The opto boards inside the clock housing run so hot that they burn themselves to pieces. So take it out, look and see if it looks toasty, but there's a lot of really good replacement boards on the market right now. I know we sell one, and then there's a fella. I have a Twilight Zone. I have this guy from Germany. His name is Ingo Kramer. He makes a beautiful clock board, and it's really nice.
Awesome. Good luck with that. I hope you guys can fix your Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
We should bring a Twilight Zone in here at some point and work on looking.
Yeah, because as we know, moving those giant wide body games is so much fun. We'll
Everyone's arguing right now about who joined the stream first. We will not be awarding a prize to anyone that came in first, but we appreciate it and will remember forever. Altered Beasts, I love that, on Twitch.
Honorary #1.
The second. First the worst, second's the best. Third's the one with the roller games. Don't you love this music? Oh, it's about to stop. I gotta find the one that actually sings.
Find the jackpot tune. Well, I think you need the voice, though, to make it really awesome. Jackpot.
Yeah, you should just do it.
I cannot do it anywhere near as good as the game can do it. That is the best part of roller games.
Flip! Don't flip!
So many people don't get it.
I did it backwards. Yeah. It says, don't flip, and then immediately you slam on that right flipper button.
It goes against everything. Yeah, don't flip. Flip!
Simon says, don't flip. Tater Salad said, me being first is always implied. Potatoes.
It's the first thing out at every picnic.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. The stream will begin momentarily. We got a couple more minutes, and then we're going to switch it over to Kyle. Thanks for being here, y'all. This is super exciting. This is our first ever stream. Talk about the nerves running high. Can everyone hear us all right? Is my roller games music too loud for you?
The nerves are running so high that I am probably like white as a ghost right now.
You're good. Oh, thank you, Mad Digital One, for being super excited for this stream. We are super excited too. Kevin Moore's looking for me. Oh, the song ended. We're gonna play one more song and then we're gonna go straight in. Oh, that's like the same song. Come on. That's mystery. Oh man, big shout out again. That's really loud.
That's the jackpot song.
Big shout out to Pin Sound for remastering all of the roller games sounds and music. It was really fun downloading this for free to just play on our stream. I was a little bit disappointed that there was not a sound package for Hard Body though. Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart.
Gonna have to fix that somehow. We gotta get Hard Body out there. Everyone needs to know that tune. Or all like 5 of those great tunes.
So don't worry about Kyle's audio right now. He's in the master studio suite. So when he comes into the actual studio, you'll hear him better. Oh, Steve Wankos, I sound a little tiny. That's a Hobbit joke. All right, it's about time. You ready to do this, Kyle? Are you ready? Did you do your jumping jacks and burpees?
Yeah, I got the blood pumping more than it already is. We think we're ready.
All right, count down and then click over to the screen when you're ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome everybody to our first ever Marco Pinball Pintech live stream. There is a lot of live in that because this is our first time being live. We're going to be doing this in Kyle's home. We are still on lockdown, even though we're in South Carolina. Things may change, but we like to keep our social distancing strong. So Kyle is at his house in his Black Cat pinball room. And hopefully we can get some cameo appearances from the 30 black cats that he actually has living in his house.
That's a little exaggeration, but I'll bring a cat in here for sure. They like being all over pinball machines, like most cats do. So yeah.
So go ahead and introduce yourself, Kyle. Who is Kyle Spiteri?
Hi, I'm Kyle. I really, really love pinball. I have always loved pinball since I was a kid. You know, everyone has the same story, but pinball was always a different thing in the arcade. I didn't need to play Area 51. I didn't need to play, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, as great as it is. I could play that at home, but these weird boxes with the glass and you can't touch, and it's really cool. So it's always had me hooked. I have worked.
Kyle, can you do me one? I'm going to cut you off real quick. That's an awesome explanation. Can you switch your audio from your phone to the webcam and get the audio feed coming through the webcam instead? Just because we're getting a little scratchy noise, like your cat's scratching on the microphone right now.
No scratchy. Hey, how about can you mute my my phone?
Oh, yes. Oh, wait. Haha. I can do that. Wait, I'm not the host anymore.
Uh-oh. Hold on. I can mute it myself. I forgot I'm the boss. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. Yeah. We'll reveal this really well-structured streaming rig eventually. It's kind of hilarious. It involves a bit of gaff tape.
Here, mute your phone. I don't think your phone's muted. Sorry, buddy.
No, it's okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah, it's not muted. I can't. You can click on it on the Zoom app. You are the host on your laptop. Thank you guys for being patient. Hey, Lance, welcome. Yeah, Kooky Jar Comics, we are trying to get the audio to work. And next week, we'll have an even better, more professional looking stream because we got some gear on the way. But we wanted to go ahead and start because we're excited to do stuff. So here we go. Kyle, test your audio out. No, I can't hear you at all. This is a catastrophe. Why can't I hear you from your Logitech mic? So if you go on Zoom, select a microphone and make sure it's coming through that Logitech C920. Thank you, Mad Digital. We are trying. Adam Horton, yes, this will be cataloged. We'll be cataloging it on all of our services. So depending on what you're watching it on, we are actually interacting with Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube all at the same time, thanks to Restream.io. It's technology is great in this time period, and everyone's streaming now. So if you have been thinking about like, oh, maybe I should start streaming my Animal Crossing game or my pinball repair, then what else better time than now? Kyle, I still can't hear you, so I'm going to keep talking to everybody while I You can try to do it off your phone again. Maybe muting it and bringing it back up will come. Zoom bingo. Yeah, oh, right. So everyone check off the part where the audio's messed up. In a little bit in the Zoom bingo, if you have your Zoom bingo cards popped up, you'll get the one with the animal joining. Hopefully we won't get, what are the other Zoom bingo options out there? We can do a mini test, right? Yeah. Go ahead and talk for me.
Hey, yeah. Is it any more audible?
That's so weird.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we went through all sorts of testing.
Everything was working perfect until we hit that live button. If you look at some of our private pages, you can see where we tested it live there too, and it worked out great. Now we're put on the spot, and Kyle's got to run back and forth between his different systems and figure it out. But no worries, we got a beautiful Rollergames here. Rollergames is Steve Ritchie design, made in the 90s, 1990. Wow. And who doesn't love roller games? Anybody in the chat doesn't like roller games? My first time playing it was at Portal Pinball in Atlanta, Georgia, and Brian had actually installed like this European sound card ROM that made the music a little bit different. I think it like took out the rock roller games part in most of the music. I could be wrong. Nope, Kyle, you're still a mime. You should just mime out everything and I'll just be your voice. Yeah, it was Steve Ritchie. It's one of the Ritchies, right? I'm just kidding. I always have IAPDB pulled up. Once I get those designer pinball flashcards set going, we're gonna all be pros on who designed every game, who did the art by every game. Anyone without looking can tell me who did the art of Rollergames? Anyone? Yeah, Lance heard the ROM. The music is by Dan Forden. We said that before. Dan Forden did a lot of music and sound effects in the 80s and 90s, up to the early 2000s. I guess his last game I saw was Simpsons Pinball Party, and then he was just like, stick to video games. So Mortal Kombat series, of course, you know, he's the whoopsies guy, and Toasty. And even in the latest Mortal Kombat. So if the crackling audio is usually a loose connection, but he's connected through the Wi-Fi and running it through his phone, in theory, that shouldn't be a problem, right? Oh, yeah. Damn Ratgos, Pat Macahone. Did I say it right? I butcher everybody's names, so I'm sorry. Oh, hello, Jacob Ashley, all the way from the West Coast, joining us nice and early for you. It's noon over there on the West Coast. You guys are watching pinball streams when you're supposed to be working. Essentially, pinball is essential. Pinball at home repair is very essential to all of our minds. So we don't go crazy. I hope everyone that's watching actually has at least one pinball machine that they can play during this quarantine. I have to live vicariously through Kyle and others' pinball machines. So that's why I was like, we're going to set up this stream now. So then I feel like I'm interacting with pinball, even though I'm just here.
Do we have, am I audible at all?
You are audible, but for some reason with your phone, every time you talk, it sounds very crackly.
It's crackly.
Which wasn't happening before, but it would actually stop if you were running your sound through that Logitech webcam. I know we didn't want to do that before because when you move that camera around to show us details, we'll kind of hear your hands moving, but you know, that might be the best.
Give me 1 second. Let me jump in.
Let's see. My arm is blocking the chat. Sorry. Chat's over there. I'm also using a Zoom virtual background. If you guys ever play around with Zoom, which I'm pretty sure 90% of Americans are now using Zoom actively, it has a lot of great features. You get everyone combined in your Zoom, and then you send window captures into your OBS streaming software. And that allows you to do a lot of cool stuff like what you see here. But there's always technical issues and kinks that have to be worked out. So I'm really happy everyone's coming to support us. This is really great. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being in the chat. Keep talking to me. Hi, James. Hi, everyone. Brett has at least 3 machines. I wonder what at least. Hopefully more than 3, but 3 is a good number. Jacob actually has a Comet and beat his high score by over 1 million the other day. And now he's going to try to beat that same high score just by playing one-handed. Because playing one-handed makes you a better player. If you didn't know that already. Oh, I hear Kyle rumbling through. Either that's him or his cats. We are working on our stream. And basically, just to let you guys know, we are going to be streaming once a week for now, every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. We figure this is a great time where we don't step on any other pinball streamers' streams because everyone's usually streaming after work and stuff. So this is kind of like I'm working from home, but I need a little lunch break. Let's turn on some pinball tech chat stuff. And you'll do that by coming to visit us at Marco Pinball on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. Our first project, as you can see, is a Rollergames, and Kyle just brought this beauty home, and he is going to do what he always does every time he brings an old new game to his house, which is kind of a tear down and rebuild, assessing all the issues with his game, and make sure that it's in, very good condition before he starts playing it, because he doesn't want to mess it up anymore.
Do it once, do it right. I've
It's not
relegated
right now.
into the master control room to use my microphone here. Do you think, for the sake of expediency, should we nix the wide camera, and I might be able to just bring the phone closer to me and use it as an audio source, so we don't have to troubleshoot the entire way through?
Yeah. Well, isn't the wide camera your phone?
Cell phone, and I think if the microphone was a little closer to my face, it might come with a little bit better quality.
Why don't you go over to your wide cam and stand right in front of it and talk to us, and let's see if that theory is correct.
Okay, yeah, let's. I'll be right there.
Does anyone have a back glass for Trizone? If so, Robbie Doty on Facebook is looking for one. So help him out. Oh, everyone's looking for the cats. All right, talk to us, Kyle.
If I stand closer, can we? Do we have any better audio quality?
No, but I believe your theory was right that as soon as we started the stream, your phone was going to die, and then that we needed to buy you a new one. Because here it is, your microphone is dying on your smartphone. It's time for an upgrade, Mr. Spiteri. I don't understand why your webcam will not feed audio anymore.
I can't either. I was thinking about, let me try turning it off on, unplugging it, and seeing if I can get it to come back up. Let's see.
Oh, Cookie Jar Comics just said that they are working from home and have us streaming on his phone while getting things done on his desktop. We hope we don't get you in trouble with your employers. Hopefully it's not a problem. We apologize for taking everyone's time and distracting you from your day-to-day essential work. But it's pinball! And we're here to do pinball stuff. Like, I'll sit here and watch this roller games and nice twinkling.
What about now?
Oh, we heard Kyle. We heard you for a second.
That might be working then.
Okay, I like it. Go
Do
ahead.
we have any echoing? Is it okay?
Chat, do you hear any echoing? Everyone's like, it's good, it's not good. Now I know how Jack Danger feels. He's like, how does it sound? And then everyone's like, yeah, no. And you're like, oh gosh, which one am I gonna do? I think you're good, Kyle.
Okay. I can hear myself through my cell phone, just as long as it's not reverberating. I think I'll be okay.
Okay, there is potentially an echo, but it may not be for a second. I think if you're far away, maybe you'll be all right.
Let's try this.
But
I'm going to take the wide shot down really quick.
So listen, Kyle, which one is the host? You're hosting on the laptop, so you have it silenced. You should be good. You shouldn't have an echo. Right, everyone?
I think I might be getting echo from your external speakers. Maybe if you wore headphones, it might be better for this instance.
Wow.
Okay, guys, I think we have this figured out.
This is what we call Imoto noobing. This is not going to work into my computer. Let's pull out the other terrible iPod headphones. Where's my gaming headphones? In LA, where I can't be right now.
Real big ones.
All right. So nothing like a 15-minute cocktail hour to warm everyone up. Kyle, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. A little embarrassed of trying to be a perfectionist, but
no, everyone's happy. Everyone's chatting with each other. We're having a good old time. So why don't you go ahead? You introduced yourself. Tell us about roller games. How did you get this game? Why roller games?
Why not roller games? This is a great game. I like goofy games. To me, the sillier a game is, the more I like it, especially when you combine it with the awesome soundtrack and the goofy magnet and roller skating. I mean, what's cooler than that? I like simple games that have a good choreography, and this game totally does that. The way the light shows are just so intense. The game flows really nice, like most Steve Ritchie games do. And that super satisfying side ramp shot. Who doesn't love that?
Yeah, explain that side ramp shot, because some people haven't played roller games, and I don't know if this function is on many other games, if any at all. But can you break down that it comes around the side after you go for the wall, and then your ball stops there? How does it stop there? And then it tells you not to flip, and then tells you when to flip.
So there's a setup where you can light the magnet, which will shine here on this up kicker. So you'll nail the ball in the up kicker when magnet's lit. It'll shoot it up and over to the right orbit. And then as it comes down, this magnet right here energizes and holds the ball. You get a great audio line, don't flip. Stay for a second, flip. And then it stages the ball, so a perfect shot will make it come right up here for a lock shot or a jackpot, depending on what you have lit in the game.
Does that mech ever mess up? Do you have to adjust it, fine tune it so it actually hits that shot right? Like after a while, does it wear out to where when you flip right at the right time and it doesn't go up that ramp?
Yeah, I mean, you need to have a good, strong flipper without a lot of slop in the linkage. When I got this game, the shot was almost unmakeable unless you got just the perfect setup. But I rebuilt the flippers, and it makes that shot reliably every time now. The other maintenance you have to do sometimes is with the magnet that actually sticks above the playfield. Sometimes they get worn down so much that you end up having a big divot, and that's where a lot of this kind of planking damage comes from. This game had a but probably an operator installed piece of Mylar. if the camera can pick it up, there's a plastic layer that covers up a lot of the playfield surface. And it's a really good way to keep the finish of the game intact. The problem is sometimes they'll start peeling, and then you'll start having this gross piece of plastic that's bubbling and peeling off your playfield.
Oh, no.
Thankfully, this one's in pretty good shape, and I intend to keep the Mylar on the playfield because it is a very, very good way to, continue having a good surface on the playfield.
Mylar up. Indeed. Chris Pink 25 on Twitch asked if it's a similar magnet to Dirty Harry pinball. I'm not sure.
This one I believe is pretty unique. I actually bought this game without the magnet coil.
So we're lifting it up, looking inside.
Yeah, let's take a look.
This is Kyle's
the
favorite
actual
part.
magnet itself is it's more shaped like a coil. I don't have the ability to bring the camera too close. Let's see. One sec.
Rob Almond said that he sucks at his side ramp shots and it's his pinball kryptonite, and he appreciates the help of a magnet. I agree. They should have added a magnet on any time there's a side flipper, upper side flipper, to tell you when not to flip and when to flip. That would make me a lot better player.
I like it. This you can see just how tight quarters this entire area of the playfield is. You have this lower diverter here to either lock the ball or send it back to the in lane. You've got your upper flipper mechanism right here, and then you have the magnet coil, the magnet core, and then the bracket right here.
Can you go in even tighter to that?
What's up?
I wonder, can the camera go even tighter into that magnet coil thing?
Maybe.
Oh, you're tethered. Oh, nice close. Yeah. Give us that close-up shot. Wow.
Yeah, so it's different. A lot of the later games, like I think you mentioned Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry used more of a pancake style magnet that was flatter and wider. This one is pretty unique.
Do we sell those magnet mechs at Marco, or is that something we're currently working on trying to?
So we do sell the magnet coil. I actually bought this game with the intention of manufacturing some new parts for it. Let's put this back here a little bit, see if I can get it to focus. Rollergames uses it, and I think this is unique to only a few games, this part being the magnet core. This is the piece of metal that when the coil energizes, it magnetizes and keeps the ball in place. So we can remake these and get these things back in service. And there's also a unique ball diverter, very similar to one that's on F14. There are two arms in the back here that will divert the ball either down this side of the ramp or this side of the ramp, or not at all, and right back into the orbit. It's a part that generally has a high service life, but with this game being 30 years old now, you see parts starting to wear out that traditionally may have not been an issue.
This is your birthday game? Is that what you said?
Yeah, according to IPDB, this game was released on my birthday, which I think is pretty hilarious.
Awesome. Okay, Kyle, you just brought this game home. What are you going to do with it? What is your process of when you bring a new old game home? It's not a new in box. It's already been touched by a million other hands.
Yeah, this one's had some shoddy work done to it. Some of it was okay. Someone changed all the LEDs over to these very bright units that they're colored LEDs, and I don't particularly like them. I know a lot of people do like colored LEDs in their playfields, but I tend to care for standard warm white, keep it as original as possible. So one thing I want to do, we're going to disassemble the game and do a top-end cleanup. I'm not doing a restoration. I wouldn't consider what I'm doing most of the time a restoration. I like to get the games to work well, to a point where it would be just like a perfect condition new game that might be a little worn out. So we're just going to give this one a good clean and get it playing just as good as it did in 1990. The first thing I did to this game was work on the electronics. Generally, that's my first area of attack. This is a System 11 game, a Williams System 11 game. This was one of the last games that Williams did with this board set. This game in particular was having an issue with the AC select relay. I'm not going to try to explain like I know how it works, but Williams really liked flash bulbs, and this device here allows a transistor on the board to not only fire a coil, but also to light a flash lamp. It's some pretty trick engineering.
That's awesome. So you're going to start with the electronics.
What's up?
What are you going to do in there?
Right now, everything's okay. One thing I always suggest doing to people that have the ability is to remove the batteries off of the board. Everyone knows that, most people in the hobby know that these old batteries will leak and corrode, and they'll destroy these computers. You have a couple options when it comes to that. You can install a remote battery pack, which would mount the batteries off of the circuit board right here, and you'll be able to mount them using wires to attach them somewhere further away from the computer. So if the batteries were to ever leak again, they would not affect the super expensive computer. Another option is you can put what's called an NVRAM, a non-volatile memory chip. That involves a bit more work. To do that, you have to unsolder the actual RAM chip and change a jumper right here. You remove that chip, install a new chip, and then change one of these jumpers. But that's what I'll be doing since I do have the ability to work on circuit boards.
That's amazing. Millie Williams from Facebook asked, what are your thoughts on roller games as a game to add to a collection for play and maintenance wise? Is this something you would keep around? Does it break easily?
I mean, the one thing with this game is it does use some unique parts, and it never really had the following that a lot of the later Williams games did. So it's unlikely to get some of these parts again, specifically the ramp. These ramps have a reputation for just kind of always being busted. So that can be a problem. I enjoy the game a lot, but I also own multiple pinball machines. It's a pretty shallow game. A lot of these 80s Williams games are start the multi-ball, light the jackpot, hit the jackpot, and do it over and over and over again. So it's an enjoyable, like, second, third pinball machine, but if you wanted something that this was going to be your only game, it might not be one you keep forever.
It's a fair assessment. All right, so you went through the back box, you tinkered with the electronics, everything is looking great up there. What's your next step?
Well, I guess the next thing I did, if we want to keep it chronological, is I did rebuild the flippers, all three of them, and I had some issues with the drop targets, but I've since fixed that. The drop target boards use optical switches. It might be, I don't think I'll be able to get an image of it, but it uses optical switches to know whether the drop target is in its up or down position. And one of those was broken. So I was able to get those parts and fix that. Other than that, the next step is definitely going to be the top-end teardown.
So Ben Gassaway on Facebook said, I replaced the cabinet switch on the right side, and it seemed to help with the power to the upper flipper.
Yeah, definitely. Flipper switches carry current, and they arc. So a dirty flipper switch or one that is very worn out definitely has more resistance than a nice new flipper switch. So that could help. The upper flipper, check for play in the linkage between the link and the actual plunger. And also make sure you have a clean and well-adjusted end of stroke switch.
Oh, we know all about that. I learned a lot about the end of stroke switch since Kyle just wrote this very awesome in-depth article about it, which we will be posting soon on our website. What did Gary Stern say about the end of stroke switch?
So Stern introduced their first solid state flipper And Gary Stern put out this goofy little promo that was like, if you ever burn out a flipper coil, we'll buy you a new one. And then there was, of course, an asterisk that was like at your or distributor's discretion or something. But I found that picture, and we'll have it up online in that InduStroke article.
That's great. Mark Butler from Facebook said, do you work with it up like that? I guess the playfield when it was up. Or do you pull it to a rotisserie? How can you test it out when it's on a rotisserie? So what are your suggestions with working it on your board, connected to your pinball machine, or disassembling it and throwing it on a rotisserie?
I never actually used a rotisserie before. I've done a few playfield swaps, but most of the time I pull the playfield completely out when I'm doing that. A rotisserie is really handy, but I've never actually used one. To test them on a rotisserie, I have done that before with a old Bally game with a Xenon. I had the playfield up and out, and I actually had enough length of the wires to go plug it back into the head, and then you got to play external pinball. I've got some silly pictures. I'll post one up on the next time. We'll have that.
Nice. Yeah, post it on our Friends of Marco Pinball group page on Facebook, which we also just started.
I've got years and years of pinball.
Our water cooler talk.
I'll start posting some every once in a while.
Awesome. So you just pulled off. Wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
So what are you doing over there?
The up kicker ramp. My goal with this project right now is the first step to this process is I'm going to be removing everything on top of the playfield to give me access to underneath the plastics and, in the deep corners and stuff like that. When you're disassembling games that are layered like this, it is really important to kind of, figure out your order of operations before you start removing things. If you see this,
right. And for me, as a very visual person, I would be taking lots and lots of pictures, different angles and stuff. Before, every time you pull a piece off, take another picture. Just so, you're not like get distracted for 3 months and you come back to your game and you're like, where did this thing go again?
That's where the fun challenge with this game is going to be, because most of the time when I do this, I get it done in a day or two. So we're going to see how well Kyle's memory is.
Well, hopefully the chat will help us.
Though, you can kind of see, you've got your base layer, the playfield, things that attach to the playfield, and then things that attach even higher than that. So this ramp was the logical first thing to go. It's on top of this wire form here. It will give me access eventually to remove this ramp. This ramp looks like it's not hooked to anything except for some studs. So this will be easy to pull up and out.
Where do you put all your screws? So you take off that ramp. Where do you put your screws for that ramp that you don't lose?
If I was well prepared, I would have had my magnetic bowl out, but I didn't think about that. So my favorite handy place to store stuff when I'm working on a game, at least on a small project, is right here. But I'm also really
Don't try this at home, kids.
So don't take my advice on that one.
Magnet bowl is great. A very important tool to have with you when you're starting to disassemble and tear down your pinball machine. A cool tip that Kevin Moore just said, going back to the rotisserie, is that there's typically enough cable length to put the rotisserie right next to the machine, and you'll want the rotisserie at about a 5 to 6 degree angle.
Yeah,
so for anyone thinking about that.
Just be careful and, test it in layers is what I'll usually do. Test for lights before you test for solenoids, so don't plug the solenoids into the board and stuff like that. But if you're using a rotisserie, I have good confidence that you know what you're doing in the order of operations.
Yeah, or you could just be like, I'm going to be a pinball repair tech tomorrow and go buy a rotisserie online and start wreaking havoc. That's something I would do.
You got to get started somewhere.
Sometimes we like to learn the hard way. All right, so you're still pulling off ramps, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to work on getting all of the highest tier things off. The next thing I would do after doing that is I like to kind of separate it into ramps that are only attached here and ramps that might be attached on the underside. This ramp, the main plastic ramp, has a bunch of switches on it. So to get this ramp off, I would need to flip the playfield up and disconnect the harness before removing this. That is a important order of operations step. You don't want to have this thing off, realize you haven't unplugged it, raise the playfield, and then have that thing jiggling or falling. And you know, they're brittle and plastic, and you definitely don't want to crack that thing.
What happens if you crack it? Is there
You'll
a
cry.
place you can get it, or because it's a 30-year-old game, then?
All of the above. It will just bring you nothing but sorrow. And good luck finding someone who has a replacement ramp that's in better condition than yours.
Aren't you looking for a replacement ramp currently?
I absolutely will be, yes.
Does anyone out there have a replacement ramp for Kyle's roller games? Because he needs it.
This game's in good enough shape, I think, to dictate putting a new ramp on it, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's in good enough shape.
Glue. You can just glue it together, right?
I'm going to repair it. I'm going to get some plastic, get some like Lexan or something, and maybe make a metal bracket and give it a good little reinforcement.
Oh, wow. That would be a fun thing to see on the stream, actually.
Absolutely. I plan on it.
Very cool.
All right.
So now, what is that you're removing right
to get
now?
to this ramp.
Oh, it's still another ramp.
Yeah, let me zoom in and I'll show you what's going on here. This ramp was held in here against the playfield using some sheet metal screws. And this guy was sitting here, just makes it awkward. Needs to come off anyway, so we'll get it out of the way. This lamp socket here is aftermarket. Someone added a bunch of spotlights onto this game to give you a little bit better lighting across the playfield. They also added these post lights also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. I think for this project, though, I will be removing them.
So you're trying to get this straight factory standard. So removing all the mods, right?
Yeah, that's kind of my goal. I like games to be factory.
Someone worked so hard to make that game stand out from the rest. And here you are bringing it back.
This is my style. I get to change it how I want it. It's my game.
That's right. You do your games how you want to do, and other people will do their games how they want to.
Yeah, don't let people tell you how to have your pinball game. If you want it with a bunch of mods, do it.
If you want LEDs, do it. If you want pin stadium lights, I know there's a lot of haters out there. Do it.
Do it. If you want
incandescence
pink or purple or blue LEDs everywhere, do it.
That's me. I want all the colors. I want different colored legs. I want everything.
There's a great Instagram that's called like Purple Pinball, and the guy just posts pictures of like games that have way too much purple in them. It's very
it's not way too much purple. It's that it's beautifully colored with lots of purple lights.
You're right. Actually, the perfect amount of purple.
No such thing as too much purple. Okay, David Shineman on Facebook says he joined late. Does Marco sell a protector when lifting the playfield from scratching the sides?
I don't think so. That's a problem I see a lot with games with art blades, is when you install art blades, you just get a lot of scratches unless you're really careful when you lift the playfield. Especially ones that are a little thicker than the stern ones.
What can you do to kind of prevent that? Like, is there any home remedy for that? Can you put something up against it?
I've seen people apply Mylar.
Oh, interesting.
The same stuff you use to protect the playfield, and that'll give a little layer here. But as you can see, if this is in focus at all, the space between the edge of a playfield and the side is almost nothing. So it's one of those mods that's kind of, it's a wear item at that point.
Oh, so Pinball Life and Measle Mods sell side protectors. So go check them out over there. We're sorry we don't have them, but we love all of our other pinball companies. So please find them over there and keep your side art good. I would scratch up mine. for sure.
Yeah, especially there's some really beautiful side art too, so that's an important thing to get protected.
Also, Steve Midge says Kyle's not going to add the drop target mod.
That is actually something that will happen eventually.
He's gonna do it.
My good.
What is the drop target mod for us laymen that don't know what he's talking about?
Okay.
And
so it's really common in pinball development for games to have a shape before they're produced. So when Steve Ritchie designed this game, these originally here were supposed to be drop targets. The drop targets are a very expensive mechanism in a pinball game. And this game already had 3. It had a lot of custom wire forms. It had a big complicated ramp. So, you know, the accountants, that was probably the first thing they nixed was, yeah, we'll use cheap stand-ups instead of expensive drops.
Oh, okay. So it would add drop targets on those stand-up targets.
Yeah, but the problem is...
That's so much more satisfying. Can I do that to hard body?
That doesn't add much to the game.
Oh.
It doesn't make it more important to have a drop target here or not.
But it's feeling. So are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? Because you sound like you don't care.
No, I totally care. Let me change my
I just got a Marco pinball package.
I have a buddy, Mark, in San Luis Obispo. Dude is like the coolest pinball person in the Central Coast, maybe all of California. But he has a Swords of Fury drop target bank. And I'm going to get it next time I go to California.
Very cool.
There's only 2 games that use a 5-bank drop target bank, as far as I know. So you either have to find someone that trashed a Bad Cats, or use a Swords of Fury bank and modify it to use 1 coil to raise all the drop targets instead of just 1. Do you remember on Swords of Fury, Imoto, how you can knock down each drop target and they come back up?
Yeah, at the top, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that Buffy the Vampire re-theme of Swords of Fury? It comes to Texas Pinball Festival every once in a while.
I want that.
It's really cool. I love it. Kerry Hardy's not a fan because he's a hater, but we talk about that game a lot.
It is kind of sacrilegious to destroy a Lion Man, so, you know, don't do that.
Lion Man! Can you tell everyone that's listening and all of our chats the Lion Man story? Because a lot of people aren't privy. This is a really cool Marco Pinball shirt. The design is Dirty Donnie. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Pretty rad.
I'm excited.
You know what? I don't know the whole Lion Man story.
Where's Scott Denisi when we need him?
I mean, it must have been a Pinside thing, right? It's hilarious. Why is there a Lion Man scream? You know, the artwork on that game is incredible.
I love it.
But I think we need to get Scott Denisi in here to tell us the Lion Man story.
It's pinball folklore. We will, on our next stream next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. Central, we will go over the Lion Man folklore. We'll do our research. So Millie Willman on Facebook says, the accountants also cut out the 15 flashers in the back box from the samples to the production units. Those damn accountants. See, I wasn't going to cuss on this stream, but it felt relevant. They ruined what would have been great drops on that left side. There's always a price, right? We always got to stick within the budget. And that's every industry, honestly.
Yeah, this game, even without those extra 15 splash lamps, this game is really bright. Steve Ritchie really likes intense, and this is intense.
It is very bright. And how many bulbs are there that you're going to have to switch back to incandescent?
I don't know. There's a
52. More? Less?
So someone put a light underneath the shooter gauge, and I dislike it. And then there's a bunch of lights under this plastic, and it's kind of ridiculous. It's very, very...
You don't like that? That looks
red.
Cool.
You know, the thing, too, that kind of hurts is that someone did a good job installing all of this stuff. It's not a hack.
Yeah, and you're destroying it.
I
mean,
I don't appreciate fine art, I guess.
All right, so what are you doing now? Are you get more plastics are coming off? You're stripping it down.
This section off here. The next thing is to attack this ramp, but it looks like, let's see if I can get that to focus. It looks like you need to remove this plastic ramp before this might come off. You've got these two posts on this wire form that center the entrance to the this habit trail here. I've only taken a Rollergames apart like once, so it's gonna come back to me later.
Kyle, you're not taking any pictures though, so you're gonna have to be watching all these live streams if you ever forget where things go.
I'm all for preparation, but these things do kind of go back together. You know, things kind of only go in one place sometimes.
So don't be scared to do it.
Yeah, don't be scared. If you have if you don't have any extra screws laying around when you're done, you did it wrong. That's my bad joke.
Cat dad joke. Tatooine Sky from YouTube says, what about the heat from the incandescents?
So all of these are LEDs.
But when you switch it over.
I will be switching them back to LEDs. I'll just be using different ones.
Oh, so you're not going incandescent. You're just doing a soft white LED, or what kind of LEDs would you put in there?
Warm whites. I
warm
like
whites.
Warm white frosted tip LEDs.
Okay.
They look a lot like incandescents.
Right.
And, you know, again, because it's like some of this artwork was pinned with the idea maybe of being lit by a little more of a yellow light. I don't know.
Yeah, warm light is great. And so why would you go, I mean, it's kind of a dumb question, but why would you not go to the incandescents and stick with the LEDs?
Incandescents draw a lot of power. And a really common problem with these old solid state games is that the amount of juice that they pull is kind of overrated for the type of connector that carries that voltage. So over 35 years, you know, these games are old now. They you see them burnt up really common. And you know, generally part of the repair procedure also is repairing that connector, which is in the back box in this game, but in this one it was okay. There's nothing wrong with incandescents. I like incandescent lights a lot, but this game might end up on location at some point. And to me, changing light bulbs is a pain in the butt. I don't want to do that.
Right, LEDs last longer. Jonathan Bodge from YouTube says, incandescent with all these add-ons will overtax the GI.
Absolutely. That was a big problem for these games for a long time. They just did not have enough channels to drive the GI through.
Great. And Crystal, thanks for watching. She's wearing her Marco Wizard Racerback shirt that I am excited to just get. It says, Kyle, how do I convert my Galaxy to LEDs? A lot of patience and time?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That game uses a good amount of bulbs, but it's really fun. And I'm really excited to come help you do it if you need it once we can come visit each other again.
Yay. We can do that on a live stream. How to change a Galaxy, all the bulbs. And we'll time it. We have to do it in one 45-minute session. Is that possible? Can you change all the bulbs?
So this is one reason that mods like LEDs kind of frustrate me sometime. And maybe it's just because I used to repair pinball by the hour and time is money. But if I wanted to get to this coil here, all I'd have to do is unscrew it and it should pop off. But now someone's installed this spotlight here, so I have to
Can
go
you give us a close-up?
Flip a wire. I know I broke my rule where I said take all that stuff out before you remove everything, but you know.
Can you give me a close-up of that? One day when we get our technology, I can
be careful
zoom in
since this
ourselves.
plastic is loosey goosey now. It's gonna want to fall.
Oh no!
Then
Yeah,
we'll
you're
have to
breaking
find
all
that.
of your rules right now. Oh no! We lost the camera. It's okay. No, it may not be okay. Let's see how it affects the stream.
There's a bunch of other wires going through for more LEDs. So in this case, since I will not be reusing a lot of this stuff, I might just skip it. Okay.
So Kyle, we're at 2:50. We have 1 hour for our stream every day because right after this, Kyle's got to jump back on those CSR phones and answer calls for our awesome Marco customers, all of y'all watching the page. We actually lost his cell phone camera, so for our higher ups, we need better gear.
Oh no, it died.
We died, but I think it's a good wrap-up time. If you want to point your camera facing you, you can do a little sign off. Any last words? What to expect for next week?
Maybe a little more action. We'll see the playfield a little more naked. And hopefully we will not have like.
All right, everybody. Yeah. Kyle's audio is going crazy again. We promise next week we will have even much better equipment. Maybe like we're right here. We'll be like right here next week, but then soon, we're off the screen. But thank you for being patient with us. Thank you for watching and tuning in. We really appreciate it. All this is going to archive on all of our social media outlets, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So please like, follow, and subscribe. And let's all give a nice round of applause for Kyle for his first live stream ever. Yay! Okay, and now Kyle's going to go into the master room and turn off the stream. So thank you, guys. Please feel free to leave comments of what you want to see next week, any week, future weeks, how you felt about how the flow of this stream went, anything. If you want to hear more roller games music, I can do that right now.
Yeah, suggestions are greatly appreciated, and we can't wait to hear from you.
So Dan Forden, who did the music and sound, he also did Atlantis, Attack from Mars, Bad Cat, Black Knight 2000, Harley Davidson. Okay, this song's a little too intense. Let's get a different song. All right, there we go. Medieval Madness, Mousing Around, No Fear, Revenge from Mars, Riverboat Gambler, Roller Games, that's this one, Safecracker, oh wow, Star Trek The Next Generation, The Getaway, High Speed 2. If you want to see an awesome restoration project of that, go to Kerry Hardy's YouTube page where he documents the entire process, makes a beautiful getaway. The Machine, Bride of Pinball, Dan Horton. The Party Zone, The Pinball Circus, The Shadow, and Simpsons Pinball Party. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and we can't wait to see you next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Kyle, turn off the stream now.
Okay.
So I can take a drink of my coffee.
Bye.